Okay, Portia, so if you want to simplify an expression like 1 over 3i, you have to get rid of the I in the denominator because you're not allowed to have an imaginary number in the denominator of your fraction. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply the top and the bottom by I. Because when I do that, I times I, let me review with you real quick. I don't know if you remember this, but I times I is equal to -1, and that's because I is equal to the square root of -1. So if I do the square root of -1 times the square root of -1, that's the same as squaring I, doing I times I get the square root of -1 squared, and the square and the square root cancel, and that's why you get just -1 as your final answer there. So when I go to simplify back to my problem, 1 times I on the top is going to give me I on the top, and that's okay. I'm allowed to have an I on the top. On the bottom, I'm going to have 3i times I, so that's going to be 3i squared. And then I can replace I squared with -1, so I have I over 3 times -1. And so that's just going to give me -I over 3. I just moved the negative sign to the top, and really the negative sign should probably go out in front. So you would have -I over 3. They might write it as -1/3 I, but I suspect they'll put it as -I over 3. So I just noticed in the question they asked for you to put it in A plus BI form. But here's the thing, the A part would just be the real part, and there is no real part here because you just have like -1/3 I or -I over 3. So I would just type it in as -I over 3 or -1/3 I, and that should be okay. Let me know if you have any questions.